Today on the topic show, Colorado bans Trump from running for president. Bud Light Peyton Manning video flops as usual. Vivek calls Nikki Haley the Kamala Harris of the GOP and goes viral. Minnesota flag has changed to one that resembles the country's flag of Somalia. North Face, Dickies, and Vans parent company has been hacked. New York law may coerce Chick-fil-A to operate on Sunday. And Comcast Xfinity data breach affects 35 million users. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of December, so if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have North Face, Dickies, Vans parent company hacked. And it's actually even more widespread than that. Those are just the most recognized names. The parent company behind this is actually VF, which is much less of an inspiring of a name, VF Corporation, but nevertheless, that's the parent company name. Not only do they own the brands that many people know, like Vans, the North Face, Dickies, but they also own Timberland, which is, I guess they're still around. Also, JanSport, so, you know, those cool, the old classic backpacks you used to get back in the day when you were in elementary school, which, great, I know they don't even use books at some schools. I don't even know if they have backpacks anymore. But nevertheless, when I was a youth, that was a popular brand for backpacks. They also own Supreme, as well as, let's see here, Ultra Running, Icebreaker, Smart Wool, Eastpak, Kipling, Nipa Harley and One. Clearly, I am out of the fashion sense. As you all know, I believe a man only needs to buy one, maybe two suits. Really, every man should always suit up appropriately and just make it last a lifetime. Now, it looks like specifically VF Corp is headquartered over in Colorado, and they own 13 of those globally recognized brands, have 35,000 employees. Revenue, geez Louise, is more than I thought. $11.6 billion, and now that is, of course, at risk because they are being attacked. Now, it looks like the threat actors managed to encrypt some of the company's computers and steal personal data, which, again, trying to think of a rudimentary way of explaining how they're encrypting some of their IT systems, their computers. Basically, relighting the language so they can understand it without a special key. Roughly put, that's kind of how I explain it to my non-tech friends. And even worse, it looks like they stole some of their data. They know that it's unclear, and this is thanks to bleepingcomputer.com. And specifically, the article noted that it's unclear if the stolen data impacts only employees, suppliers, resellers, partners, or customers. While the attack bears all of the hallmarks of a ransomware attack at the time of this writing, no ransomware groups have taken responsibility for the incident. So interestingly enough, I mean, traditionally with a ransomware, you'll have a malicious actor break into the excuse me, a little bit of a cough these days, but just shall persevere, of course. Is an instance where they'll break into the network, they'll encrypt a bunch of files, they'll do a ransomware where they'll have it so that you actually can't access your data until you pay them, in which case they will give you a special encryption key so you can basically unlock your own data, and you can once again have the ability to access, read, write all that data as well. And usually you get that ransom note and you get the demands pretty quickly. It's a huge business in and of itself. And in this case, they haven't heard one yet, which is really bizarre. Now, according to the SEC filing, which again, that's a pretty big change in terms of cybersecurity and businesses in the United States, recently the U.S. government had a new mandate in which if you're a big publicly traded company, you have to let your shareholders and the public know within, I believe, 24 hours if you've had a breach or cybersecurity incident. So that's why we're going to see a lot more of these incidents in the headlines, even if it's not a massive breach or even if it's not, crippling a company's operations, where you have some instances where nationwide news when the Colonial Pipeline was hit, they actually halted the transaction of one of the most precious commodities on the planet, which is oil, gasoline. Now, that made a lot of headlines because of the big impact it had and it impacted the whole supply chain. In some of these smaller cases, there's not as much impact, but now they're going to be making headlines because they have to publicly tell everyone about it. Now, going back to the article, according to the SEC filing, they said, quote, the company is working to bring the impacted portions of the IT systems back online and implement workarounds for certain offline operations with the aim of reducing disruption to its ability to service retail and brand e-commerce customers and wholesale customers, aka wholesale being when they sell to a brick and mortar, they sell to a reseller like Walmart or Amazon, and they sell it to the end user on their behalf. Now they continue to say, quote, as of the date of this filing, the incident has had and is reasonably likely to continue to have a material impact on the company's business operations until recovery efforts are completed. VF Corp says its physical retail stores will operate normally. Still, customers will likely experience delays in the fulfillment of online orders or the inability to place orders on some of said brands' e-commerce sites. Which, geez Louise, can't help but wonder what the heck is this doing to their stock price if they are publicly traded. So VF. Let's see. It's not detrimental. It looks like it went down. Again, this is the aggregation across 5 days. So people have had time to read the article. It's down negative 4.66%. Currently trading at $18.61 per share. Again, this is a VF Corporation. Market cap of $7.24 billion. Oh, geez Louise, I'm glad I didn't invest in them. I mean, granted, hindsight's always 20/20 when it comes to investing. Their 5-year trend is actually negative 73.36%. Past year, they're down 26.06%. Year to date, they're down negative 32.91%. Past 6 months, they're down 5.68%. So overall, the trend for the company is not great. And again, it's one of those fascinating things with Q4. Fiscally speaking, Q4, most of the businesses make a majority of their revenues and their profits. That's why they always call it Black Friday. It's a finance term, getting from the red, where red is negative and black is positive. You're getting into the black, so to say. So it's a traditional ledger. Now, getting hacked and having an inability to transact during the most important time of the year, this is certainly going to hurt them. And it'll be interesting to see how long they're impacted. And again, another good reminder to always test your backups if you are a business owner or you work in an IT company. Everyone always says, oh yeah, we backed up our data. And it's fascinating to hear how many times everyone will tell me that when I'm working with my IT company. And then we always ask a follow-up question. Great. When was the last time you tested your backups? That's usually the multi-million-dollar question. Because again, in some cases, not all, granted, there's a myriad of variables in cybersecurity, which in and of itself makes it so fascinating to me. But in some cases, if you get, malicious reactors break in, they encrypt your files. If it's a proper good backup, air gapped, it's off-site, well, all right, our current data is bad, just restore it. Granted, you still have to, find malicious actors, make sure they don't there's a lot of variables, but backups do help. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out, but not great business news for VF Corporation. It'll be interesting to see how they're able to adapt, and maybe they'll be able to, hopefully, if you're a fan of their products, be able to get back online 100% and operational before, I was going to say the Christmas rush, but that's, hours away. So now that I think about it, hopefully the Christmas shopping for that company has already been hit, but of course, as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you again, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of December, so if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better as I attempt to increase my enunciation and slow down my pace of speech. And I know those are issues thanks to feedback left to me in the comments. So the more feedback, the better, and I appreciate it. Also, giving a thumbs up is a great way to help the video be shared more on them YouTube analytics with all the fun algorithms trying to see how the video gets shared, so I appreciate that. Also, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.